the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Jake, did you miss me yesterday?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You sold that better than you normally do. I almost believe you. I'm like this close to believing you. Will you be offended if I say I almost missed you yesterday? Almost?
That's good.
A little bit more believable?
Yeah.
Nah, I missed you. All right. Holiday weekend. You know my kids don't have school again today?
Oh, that's right.
Like, it's like a second spring. What is this? Second spring break. Like, do kids just not go to school anymore? Teacher work day. I respect the teachers. They got to grind and try to educate today's youth, and they need their work days. So, as a result, I've got a special guest for our last segment today. My 8-year-old Jordan is out there on her iPad, wondering what the heck's going on around her. She's been here before. She said she was happy to meet you, although she's met you before. Does that mean you're not memorable? What does that mean, Jake?
Probably. That's fine. Yeah, it's good. As long as she's happy to meet me.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what I have an idea of what the questions are going to be. I have no idea what her answers are going to be. I even asked her some on the way here, like the things I'm going to ask her. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to ask it again just to see what she said. She gave me completely different answers both times. I was like, well, this will be interesting. I don't know what she's going to say. And that's half the fun here. Kids say the darndest things. You ever watch that show?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
So who knows what will happen in segment 3 today. Segment 1 and 2, a little bit more predictable. Although, let's be real, you and I never really know what's going to happen here on this show, which is half the fun. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Adam Carriker Show, the show that gives you unique insight, unbridled honesty. Producer Jake and I have a whole lot of fun in the process talking Husker sports, college football, and sports in general. Jake, like, spring practice starts Saturday, February 21st. I knew the date. I've known the date for a while. It wasn't until somebody said something last week. Yeah, it's a week from Saturday, which was like last Thursday or Friday. I'm like, wait, it's just over a week. Spring ball starts. So we're going to talk about spring ball starting this Saturday. Some of the things we're going to keep an eye on. Some of the things, what are the biggest question marks? What are we looking for? What do we hope to get out of spring ball? Shortened time frame going into spring ball, shorter winter conditioning than typical. Going to be a little longer time frame afterwards. There's pluses and minuses. You know, Rule said he wanted to basically see what they had on the field. They got a whole bunch of new. Like 3 new coordinators, because you have co-special teams coordinators, a new defensive coordinator. Man, new defensive coordinator again for a 3rd year in a row. New special teams coordinator, apostrophe S. Anyways, multiple. So just kind of like last year, we had new special teams coordinator in Eckler. Now we've got new special teams coordinators this year. New defensive coordinator, obviously, just like last year was John Butler, although he had been on staff the year before. This year is a brand new scheme as well with Rob Arch. So brand new coordinator, brand new scheme, 4-2-5. Last year was like a 3-3-5 hybrid, or the past couple years, but a brand new scheme. And so lots of things to talk about, lots of things to look at. I get the impression, and Matt Rule even said, like, he wants to get on the field. He wants to get them playing football and see what they've got, is kind of what he said. I think there's other reasons for it. There's pluses and minuses no matter when you do it. It's a little different doing it this way. I don't know if that's bad. Nothing ever changes if everyone just does the same thing all the time. You try something new, you see if it works, you see if you like it, see if you don't like it. We tried this thing called the Husker games last year. Spring game's back. That's okay. So we're going to chat about all that. Also, Nebraska basketball playing our good buddies Iowa tonight. I'm going to look up that. Do you know what the spread is by chance, Jake? I can look it up real quick.
I think it was 1.5.
1.5?
Close one.
Hey, they're pretty good at home, though. They're 12-2 at home. They got the blackout going. They steal that from us, or we steal that from them?
Let's not talk about it. They got what are their colors? It's black.
Well, I'm a former black shirt. Does that count? I mean,
We're leaning into black a little more, but I think that they might have more of a say-so on blackouts because it's one of their primary colors.
BS. I'm calling BS. You might be right. I'm still going to say BS. Don't let facts get in the way of a good story, KJ. They're doing the blackout. It's going to be rowdy tonight. 1.5. How'd you say that? Sounds about right. Because I think we're the better basketball team. I do. But it's going to be an insane atmosphere. They've got a blackout rolling. It's going to be a hostile environment. And it's going to be fun to watch. So we're going to talk about that as well. Before we do that, before we dive into all that, if anybody has any questions, thoughts, concerns, and or otherwise, Jake, make a prediction. Will that number be the same thing 10 years from now?
I think so.
You think so? All right, what is that number?
402-464-5685.
Let's give a shout out to one of our good friends, partner sponsors of this fine program. Shout out to Culligan of Lincoln. As a former Husker and NFL player, you might know that I'm a smidge bit of a health nut. Hydration and recovery, they do start at home. That's why you should make sure you team up with Culligan of Lincoln. Soft water means better showers, cleaner dishes, and protects your water, heater, and appliances. Their high-efficiency softener cuts salt and water usage. For drinking, make sure you add a Culligan reverse osmosis. It's like bottled quality water right at your tap. Great taste and is certified to reduce tough contaminants like lead and PFAs. Right now, get up to $300 off a whole home system or $9.95 a month for your first 3 months. Schedule your free water test at CulliganHuskers.com. That's Culligan of Huskers.com. Culligan of Lincoln. Why do you love Go Big Red? So I know the cameras aren't working right now, Jake. Can folks on YouTube hear us at least?
They can hear us.
They can hear us. All right. We'll get that rolling and working. Let's start off with early. Let's see, February 17th. Early spring ball questions, thoughts, and or otherwise. So if something pops up on the text line, let me know, Jake. What's the first question that pops in your head? The first thing you want to keep an eye on throughout spring ball?
Well, anytime you've got a new quarterback going on there, and then the quarterback battle, I think, would probably be the top of mind.
So, quarterback battle. That is not something we've heard for about 3 years. Quarterback competition, quarterback battle. Now, I think in most people's minds, it's between TJ Lateef and Anthony Calandria. But don't forget about Daniel Kalen. Now, we got 3 quarterbacks in that room on scholarship. They've all 3 of them started Power 4 games. Multiple Power 4 games in their careers. In one way, shape, or form, they've all been highly rated, like TJ Lateef coming out of high school, 4-star. Daniel Kalen coming out of high school, the #1 recruit in the entire state of Nebraska. Anthony Calandria, one of the highest graded transfer portal quarterbacks out there. I saw a list. I don't have it in front of me. I think somebody had him rated as the 5th, one of the top 5 highest rated transfer portal quarterbacks there were, according to this particular list. I think he was number 5. By the way, Owen Chambliss is one of the highest rated and highest graded linebackers that came out of the portal. I think there's legit reason to be excited about what he can do, as well as that linebacker core as a whole. We're going to dive into that. In your mind, is it legit a 3-way battle, Jake? Or is it pretty much between TJ and Anthony?
I would be very surprised if it's anybody besides Anthony Calandria. I mean, the way that he's been spoken about by Matt Rule, even Troy Dannon saying he's got a presence to him, and he's the Mountain West Player of the Year. I think that move was made obviously to add an element to the offense, right? And so TJ Lateef played well enough, right, for a true freshman in what he did. But did he elevate it beyond what it was, and ultimately in the final games, the answer is no. I mean, it might have been a spark for a player here and there, but for the most part, you're going to need more out of the offense. Now, he should naturally take that next step. If he takes a big step from freshman to sophomore year, then I think you've got more of a conversation. But I think Calandria's got a pretty good lead on this thing. And then the crazy thing is these days is you always got to wonder what guys are getting paid, because that certainly can make a difference in NFL locker rooms and now going into college football locker rooms as well.
So Matt Rule has said that they've brought in guys via the portal in the past, paid them handsomely, and there's been a couple of them who have not earned playtime on the field. Now, I'm purely speculating here, but a guy a couple of years ago that we were all pretty high on, basically during the Colorado game, seemed to have lost his job, was Micah Mazuka, and didn't quite pan out. And that's a guy you brought in via the portal. That's a guy who didn't play a ton. So maybe that's a guy. We don't know how much he was paid exactly, whatnot, but he has said it's got to be earned. And he indicated it was more than just one guy over the past few years. So I would think that Calandria would have kind of the inside track. Also, TJ Lateef. What can, outside of, more reps, proven experience, but physically, what can Calandria do that Lateef can't? I think Calandria's a little quicker. He's looking to run more often, right? TJ Lateef can run. He doesn't look to run necessarily a ton. He just does when it's wide open, or if it's a design play call for him to take off and run. Calandria's a guy who looks to run a little bit more often, and he's a guy who almost like seeks out contact sometimes, which I kind of like. I kind of enjoy. So we'll see how that plays out. Physically, I don't see. Lateef's a little bit bigger. Calandria's probably a little bit quicker. They both can make plays with their arms. They both can make plays with their feet. It's going to be the decision-making process. For Lateef, what is that next step for him? Is it a gigantic leap? And a lot of times your biggest improvement comes from year 1 to year 2. I know that was my biggest improvement, bar none. Other guys have sat here in front of these same microphones and said from year 1 to year 2. Why? Because you're adjusted to college. You know what the coach expects. You know what the routine looks like. You know what everything looks like. And now you get to run them back instead of trying to figure it out and play football at the same time and adjust to everything in life being different. So year 1 to year 2 is typically the biggest jump. But how big is that jump? Is he, going to do a standing long, broad jumps worth of improvement? Is it going to be a half step forward, a 10-foot broad jump step forward? Is it, what does that look like for Lateef? And it's physically, it's all there. It's mentally. What's it look like mentally? Daniel Kalen is a guy, a little bit more of a pocket quarterback. He can move around, make some plays with his feet. Of the three, maybe the best pure passer, the least likely to make plays with his feet. Not that Lateef and Calandria are incapable of making plays with their arms, because they are. Not that Daniel Kalen can't make some plays with his feet. He's just more likely to do it with his arm. It's a unique situation where you have 3 quarterbacks, again, who've all started multiple Power 4 games in their career. So I wouldn't count any of them out. I do think Matt Rule has shown he will, at most positions, he will play the best players. I can't say we've had a legit quarterback competition or battle the past couple of years, but that's in the past. Going forward, I believe we're going to have a legit quarterback battle and competition, just like at every other position the past couple of years. And he has shown, he has proven, like, you got to earn it. Hey, we got you here. Obviously, we came to an agreement on the boo law, the money side of things, but now who's the best player on the field? So I'm curious to see who that is. I didn't think Anthony Calandria has the inside track. As far as the inside track, as we sit here, just after Valentine's Day. By the way, we're going to circle back to Valentine's Day, Jake. And how that went for you, my man. But way early, probably unnecessarily, look at who do you think might win that number 2 job? What are your thoughts on that, Jake? Is it Kalen with more experience? Is it Lateef, who may be more mobile? What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think TJ Lateef probably, in my mind, is that. And it's just, a lot of it depends, right, on what we see and what they can do here. But TJ Lateef, at least, a lot of this is just kind of the experience level, right? And that's where Calandria has a lot of experience. I felt like they needed to go get a guy with a lot of experience, and that's why I kind of like him for the starting job. From there, TJ Lateef and Daniel Kalen may be close, but at least TJ Lateef has, experience in this offense. And then the other thing that you mentioned, a little bit more fleet of foot. That's something they're specifically looking for. So, I think he's got the likelihood to get the second spot there. But as we've said all along, it's rare that you're going to find a quarterback room with this much Power 4 experience, as you were saying earlier, especially in this day and age. So Nebraska's in a good spot there, especially if injuries or anything kind of pops up at quarterback. You feel pretty good. But I'm really interested in what can you do outside of what we scheme up for you in this offense, right? Is because that seemed to be a bit of a problem with Dylan Raiola. Again, I think got marginally better here with TJ Lateef. But Calandria kind of adds that in spades, right? I mean, that he's going to improvise and run around, all that sort of stuff. And I think specifically without Emmett Johnson, questions on the offensive line, I think you need that more so than ever.
Couple of thoughts. I think you make some good points. One question, you said TJ Latif has more experience in this offense. My question is, how much does the offense change? Because I think the offense is going to look fairly different. You got a completely different skill set at quarterback. Pretty much up and down the board for the most part. So I think the offense is going to look a little bit more Holgorsen-esque from what we've seen in the past. Now, he hasn't always had like Brandon Whedon, some of these other guys, we mentioned them before. They're not always the most fleet of foot guys. But I think you're going to see a little bit more kind of what you've seen in the past. I wonder how much it changes, how much it looks the same. So with TJ Latif's experience in the offense, he's got experience, obviously, with Glenn Thomas and Holgorsen and certain concepts. But I'm sure some things will change. Daniel Kaelin, as an overall whole, has more general experience when you talk about that conversation. And obviously, Calandria has the most experience of any of them. So we'll see. I'm curious to see how that pans out, how that plays out. One thing, as we look back to before Dylan got hurt, he wasn't going to make a ton of plays with his feet. There were times we held on to the ball really long, too. So, and again, I'm just analyzing previous quarterback play. All right. And he was our previous starting quarterback for most of the past 2 years. So for me, it's like, if you're not going to make plays with your feet, you got to get rid of the ball quick. If you're not going to get rid of the ball quick, you got to make plays with your feet. He didn't really do either. And so it put us in a little bit of a bind. And to your point, thank goodness for Emmett Johnson emerging. And I chatted with Coach Osborne about a month ago, 3-4 weeks now. And I asked him about Emmett, and he goes, yeah, that guy would find space where not a lot of backs would have found it. In other words, we ran the ball pretty well. Well, Emmett's stats were good. The team as a whole wasn't phenomenal. But when you factor in the sack yards, we need to have a separate category for that. We mentioned that in the past. But a lot of that was Emmett kind of finding yards where, again, you have to slow down the film in order to really see it, or you got to be Emmett Johnson. And when you look at the fact that he was also our leading receiver, so we're losing our leading rusher, leading receiver. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't feel that bad about our wide receiver room right now. You look at the wide receiver room. I mean, Isaiah Hunter's back. Corey Barney's back. You got Quasi Gilmore, who was UCLA's top wide receiver. I actually feel pretty decent. And out of every room in our entire team, I might feel the best about our wide receiver room. But and we can get into that in the future. The room that excites me the most on defense is linebacker. And I can get into that a little bit more, and we will, as the offseason, the spring ball goes along, the spring ball starts. The most interesting one on defense will be the DBs, because we were one of the top pass defenses in the country, yet we've lost a lot of guys. We brought in a lot of guys. How does that translate over to this season? Obviously, Butler, that was kind of his strength. He's no longer here anymore. The biggest question mark is up front on the D-line. That thing could turn out to be our big question mark as the season goes along again, or it could turn out to be a strength with a lot of the returning guys back outside of Keona Davis. A lot of guys are back. Still a little bit undersized, but we'll see what happens there. The offensive line obviously is going to be highly analyzed, highly scrutinized, whatever word you want to use, highly watched, however you want to phrase it. The running back room is going to be intriguing, maybe a little bit more by committee, but if there's a little bit more time for the quarterback to throw and they can't just put 8-9 guys within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage and there's bigger holes, I mean, our running backs don't lack for talent and ability, just not proven yet. I think special teams might be the most analyzed special teams unit in the entire country. Just with everything that's gone on and some of the changes. And a lot of that, again, comes back to the passion of the fans. I'm always going to follow that up with be respectful. All right, passion with respect. I've said that for 12 years now that I've covered the Huskers, Nebraska football. Passion with respect. Don't dial back the passion, but always keep the respect ratcheted up to an equal level. But it's going to be highly watched. Final thoughts on the quarterback battle. Man, I've not said that. I even hesitate. I've not said that in 3 years. I'm still getting used to saying that. And so, final thoughts on the quarterback battle from your end, Jake, and anything from the text line.
Yeah, for the text line, John in Cortland says Emmett could make 3 guys miss the tackle in a 9-foot square room phone booth. So he's pretty excited about that. Some other thoughts there. Gorilla Bear says they didn't do enough to address the inability to stop the run or rush the passer. Will continue to get bullied in November and on. And 5284 says Give me Daniel Kalen. He was an Elite 11 kid, wasn't he? Daniel's the smartest heck, too. How much of being a quarterback is between the ears? Hope the staff gives Danny a shot. So, yeah, those are the thoughts off the text line. I think they're interesting. The quarterback position is certainly going to be intriguing, but it just kind of just saying it as a whole, it's an interesting spring because who has success against that defense? What type of quarterback has success against the defense? But they're installing the defense, right? And a lot of moving parts there. We don't know exactly if one side, if they're doing really good at stopping the run in the spring, is that troublesome for the running game? If they're doing really good at running, is that troublesome for the run defense? Right. So it's just I think there's going to be a lot of. It's going to be difficult to take away a whole lot this year. But I think the quarterback position can at least be something that is a little bit easier to navigate through that to see who's having success. But again, you don't know what defense you're going up against. How good is this defense?
That's a fair point because, and again, going back to last year, we heard how good the offensive line looked in practice. I even had people that were at practice like, hey, the offensive line looks really good. Immediately, I was like, is that good or bad? Because we're not going against another team. We're going against ourselves. Does that mean the offensive line is just really good? Does that mean the defensive line is lagging behind at that point? As the season unfolded, I think we got the answer to that question. So to your point, it's hard to tell when you're going against yourself. Because is this unit, whatever unit is, if the wide receivers start to tear it up for us in the spring, is that because they're really, really good, even though I think they can be really, really good? Or is that because the secondary is struggling? Or are they both just really, really good, but the wide receiver unit's stronger right now? What does that mean? It's hard to gauge when you're going against yourself. I look forward to a quarterback position this year where plays can be made with the feet, where there's a moxie played with the quarterback position, an intensity, a physicality. Please be smart while you're at it. I don't question whether he's going to seek out contact. I just all right, keep the moxie that you played with in the past at UNLV and Virginia. Keep improving on taking care of the ball. The completion percentage jumped up over 5% this past year at UNLV. And at the same time, let's be smart. Let's be smart. But I think he's going to have moments that frustrate Husker fans, but are going to electrify Memorial Stadium at the same time. And getting rid of the ball quicker. The ability to make plays with our feet at the quarterback position, I think are going to help. Coming back to Emmett Johnson, this has not been talked about enough. Because we go back, and what prompted this to pop into my head was the text about November games, what they think will happen next year in November, and all that. This has kind of been glossed over. First of all, Emmett ran the ball almost 30 times versus Iowa. His performance versus Iowa. He ran the ball 29 times. 217 yards. This is Iowa. This is not, with all due respect, Houston Christian or Akron. This is Iowa. I remember he had over 150 yards rushing halfway into the second quarter because I remember writing that stat down during the game. He had over 100 yards in the first quarter. I think before the first quarter was over. 150 midway into the second quarter. And then you look at his final stats, 29 carries, 217 yards. Okay, he ran it almost 30 times. Adam, what's that mean yards per carry average? 7.5 yards per carry versus Iowa. A touchdown. Remember he had that long 70-yard run as well down the right sideline? The other running backs combined, and I'm curious to see what they can do, but Isaiah Mosey carried the ball twice. Mekhi Nelson carried the ball once. TJ Lateef had the hamstring issue, so he ran it once. Harden McHarburg ran it twice. So, Emmett had a great game versus Iowa, over 217 yards. That was an Iowa team that hadn't given up a 100-yard rushing performance to a single running back in almost over a month. I think that's been glossed over. The score was 40-16, so people tend to, But I'm going to revisit it for this second, right here, right now, because that has not been talked about enough. It might be something I bring up at some point in the future again. But I just felt like even on this show, we hadn't talked about it enough. It was just like, oh, man, the way that second half went, the way the game went, and yada, yada, yada. Like Emmett Johnson played so well versus Iowa. Almost 30 carries, 217 yards, 7.5 yards per carry against an Iowa rushing defense that does not give up big plays. He had a 70-yard run and does not give up a lot of yards on the ground. So can we make up for that by the young running back stepping up? Who's going to step up? Isaiah, Mekhi Nelson seem to be the two with maybe, I don't want to say the head start, but the two you look at first to be the 1-2 punch. Obviously, you got Ives, you got other guys, Booth, guys that are in that room as well. Who steps up is a little bit more running back by committee. Does somebody take the bull by the horns, become the main guy? Are the holes a little bit bigger? Can we keep the defense off balance a little bit more so they can't just load the box like they were doing in November? All those things go hand in hand and they'll play off of each other. I'm curious to see how it all unfolds. All right. Any last thoughts before we head to this first break and come back and talk some Husker basketball there, Jake?
Real quick, somebody did ask, do you expect the attendance to be down for the spring game this year? Not obviously compared to last year, but in general.
Thank you. I want to say no. I do. I want to say no. Part of it is we have such high attendance at the spring games as a general whole. It may be down a little bit. You know, and I think it was Husker football or one of the Nebraska social media accounts a couple weeks ago put out something, and it wasn't like directly. It was a little bit beating around. Like, are we having trouble selling out games right now? And it's February right now, but I'm talking regular season games. Hopefully, that's something that's not becomes an issue. But I can't help but wonder if that becomes an issue. Hopefully, it doesn't. And when you ask about the spring game, I think back to that post. I'm kind of like, we'll see what happens. Do I expect to be down at least a little bit? Probably. You know, it's going to be colder than normal on that day as well. Spring games are earlier. I don't think it's anything to panic about. But to answer the question a little bit more directly, probably. I said directly, and then I said probably. Any other questions?
I like that. Any other thoughts? The final thought there from Gorilla Bear, right? In that game, Nebraska could neither stop the run, talking about the Iowa game, stop the run or rush the passer, not to mention they also did 0 to replace Emmons Valley. I don't think Gorilla Bear is too excited about this season.
I get that. He's not alone. You know, we're going to see what happens. When you talk about that game alone, I mean, Iowa, we actually outrushed Iowa, just for those curious. We had 231 rushing yards. They had 213. We averaged 6.4 yards per rush as a team. They averaged 4.6. But again, a lot of that was Emmett. A lot of that was early on. And if you remember, what was it, 17-16 at one point? We were moving the ball. Iowa was up by 1. The difference was they were getting touchdowns. We were getting field goals. And then I think this is going to be a terrible punt. And it's fully intended. And I know it's going to be terrible. But when TJ Lateef got hamstrung because of his hamstring, I said it was terrible, but I rolled with it anyways. It really limited what we could do. And that's not an excuse. Maybe Iowa makes adjustments and we don't get another point either way, but that certainly didn't help. But when you look at the actual rushing yards as a team by comparison, we outrushed them by 18 yards. Now, were we the more physical team? I would not go that far. Again, a lot of that was Emmett. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hog Wild has a delicious way for you to enjoy beef brisket. It's our open-faced hot beef sandwich. We start with our grilled Texas toast. Add a scoop of creamy mashed potatoes. Load them up with some tender Hog Wild beef brisket. And top it off with our tasty brown gravy. It's absolutely delicious. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Looking to get a room downtown or near South Lincoln? Abe Lincoln would tell you no to the Ford Theater and yes to Lincoln Hotel. Save up to 40% off downtown Lincoln prices with a nice clean room and comfortable stay. Lincoln Hotel is locally owned and offers a day pass to the city's largest locally owned gym, Good Life Fitness. Long-term stays are available. You can learn more about pricing and book your Lincoln Hotel stay today at staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565. That's staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565.
Most resolutions for the new year fail before January is even over. Why not resolve to just be a little bit cleaner in 2026? Nebraska Auto Detail is here for you. Now through March 30th, if you purchase a ceramic coating, you'll get a free interior detail. There's no better way to start your year than taking care of your car and decluttering the mess that it becomes so easily. Book your detail today at NebraskaAutoDetail.com or call Joe and the team at 402-601-5086.
If you've been around Lincoln for more than a few years, you've heard of Dewey's Computer Service. We've been fixing computers for nearly 30 years. Now, we're Wingman IT, and we take care of all the things that go buzz, beep, or ding for your business. Our team of support engineers take care of everything from computers and servers to business phones, network cabling, firewalls, and most importantly, IT security. We take care of technology so you can focus on running your business. Call us or visit us at wingmanit.com.
Geode Health is now open in Lincoln, bringing high-quality mental health care to the community. Located downtown near Lincoln Central Business District, this is Geode's first location in Nebraska and part of a growing national footprint. Now welcoming patients to work with Dr. Eric Curry, board-certified outpatient psychiatrist specializing in adult mental health care, including treatment for ADHD, anxiety, depression, mood disorders, medication management, and more. Geode is also growing in its Lincoln Care Team, with opportunities for therapists interested in collaborative, patient-centered care. Appointments available now. Visit geodehealth.com. That's GEODE health.com.
Hey guys, this is former UFC fighter and mixed martial artist Anthony Lionheart Smith. The Upside Bar and Lounge in South Lincoln is the go-to spot for every UFC event, prelims, and main card. There's never a cover, so make sure you get there early and stay late. Upside Bar and Lounge has daily specials, a margarita club, and a taco club. And don't forget, they just added Buzz Bowls to their menu. Learn more about upcoming events by visiting UpsideBarLNK.com and stop into their South Lincoln location for every UFC event on 27th and Pine Lake.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement. Fans, are you craving the ultimate game day experience? Red Zone Sports Bar and Grill has your front row seat to all the action. Dive into delicious wings, juicy burgers, and ice-cold drinks, all served up with TVs covering every inch of the wall, so you'll never miss a play. Rally your crew, cheer on your team, and take advantage of game night specials every week. Stop in for a Nebraska basketball game with a party of 4 or more and receive a free pitcher of beer. Red Zone Sports Bar and Grill, right by the Lincoln Airport at 3111 Northwest 12th Street.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Before we dive into a little Husker basketball, going to play our good buddies from Iowa. They're copying us, Jake, with the blackout. They're copying us. Do we rip it off from them?
I don't think it was an original idea from either of these schools, to be honest. I think it's been, I don't know what the first blackout was.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with ripping them off and then trying to take credit for it because it's Iowa. Mostly just because it's Iowa. Not as a general rule, to be clear. Just because it's Iowa. All right, before we dive into some Husker basketball, anything off the text line? Because we got, obviously, plenty of time. We talked mostly about quarterback today, dove a little bit into some of the other positions for spring ball, which is starting on Saturday. We can discuss maybe on Thursday. Do we like spring ball starting this soon? It doesn't matter if we like it or not. Matt Rule's starting it this soon. And he wanted to get back on the field. He wanted to see what he had. I think part of it, man, just a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. I guarantee Rule's like, I want to get this bad taste out of my mouth. Let's get on the field. Let's see what we got. Let's start moving forward. In fairness, guys tend to bond a little bit more when you get on the actual field. I heard someone saying the other day, winter conditioning. Yeah, trust me, you bond. You bond. If you got the garbage can at the end of the line and people are using it, you bond over that. It's a weird way to bond, but you bond. But it's different on the football field. It is. It's different on the football field. I will say this. I hope, we got to get bigger, faster, stronger. We got one of the highest paid strength coaches in America. We got to get bigger, faster, stronger. We got pushed around in November. We did. This is no secret. This is not breaking news. This is way afterthought news. We got pushed around November. We got to get bigger, faster, stronger. A little bit shorter winter conditioning, but we're going to have more time afterwards. If you think about it, guys that get hurt in spring ball, we've had guys get hurt in spring ball. It's another month for them to try to get healthy for the season. That's probably got to factor in a little bit, I would assume. But we can discuss all those things as time goes along. As far as the topic today, which was mostly quarterback and showing love to Emmett Johnson and the much overlooked Iowa performance that he had. His last game ever wearing a Husker uniform, by the way. Did you see the video of him shedding legit tears? The last guy walking off the field, people with their arms around him. You see that?
Uh-uh.
I did. I actually saw it while I was on the field. Now, my angle was more to his back. So I just saw him walking off, the last guy walking off the field, people with their arms around him. I couldn't see his face. It wasn't until I saw the actual video that was put out that you saw the legit tears. And that's when I was like, crap, he's going. Like, he's going to the NFL. Obviously, now we know that. But at the time in November, like right after that game, I was like, oh, crap, he's gone. Is there anything else off the text line before we dive into some Husker basketball here?
Somebody just mentioned the offensive line and Jeep Wade and them using this time to bond as well, which is a good point because maybe you have 3 new starters up there.
No, that's going to be huge. It's going to be huge because as a defensive line, you got to work together. It's a lot more like some sports are more individual oriented, individually driven. Like I've argued in the past, baseball, softball, the most individualistic team sports you're going to find. As a batter, it's you and the pitcher. As a shortstop, it's you and the ground ball. Like nobody can really help you once the ball's on the way to the plate if you're hitting or the ball's hit to you and you're the short. It's you and the play that has to be made. Now you can argue that to a degree, but if you're a DB, it's not just, hey, the ball's in the air, you're covering a guy one-on-one, can you make the play? What happened before that? What was the coverage? Was it play action? Have they been able to run the ball? What set it up? Did your defensive line get there in 2 seconds and 3 seconds or less, or they have 5 seconds to throw the ball? Because that affects everything too. It all goes hand in hand. So as far as the offensive line, getting back to that specific point, I look at the offensive line. There are certain things that are a little bit more individualistic within the game of football, just like other sports are a little bit more team-oriented. Now, football to me is the most team-oriented sport in the world. Quarterbacks aren't very good if they're on their backside. Running backs, outside of a few exceptions, Emmett Johnson, maybe Barry Sanders. I'm not saying he's Barry Sanders, but guys that pop into my head that could find the littlest creases and make something out of it. For the most part, like running backs aren't great if there's nowhere to go. So offensive line, quarterback, like wide receiver running the right route, making the right hot read. If the quarterback makes the right hot read, but the wide receiver doesn't, that's how a lot of pick sixes happen because the quarterback throws the ball before you break like he's supposed to, expecting you to break, then you don't. The DB's like, hello, thank you, pick six. Happy birthday, me. It's the most team sport that there is under God's hot sun, in my humble opinion, and no unit on the entire field has to be more on the same page than the offensive line. Like, if they're sliding right, sliding left, what's the pass pro? Hey, are you deuce, deuce, deuce? By the way, everybody under God's hot sun offensive lineman knows that means double team. Even a stupid defensive lineman, when you walk up, deuce, deuce, deuce. All right, great, I'm getting double team. Like, we can figure these things out, but that's a sidebar. Like, are they on the same page? How well do they work together? I've asked Rob Zadiska a couple of times, maybe even Brendan Stye, I don't remember, going into that Orange Bowl versus Miami, because they swapped Brendan Stye to the other side so he could go head-to-head versus Warren Sapp. Rob was like the first couple plays in practice, him and Brendan stepped all over each other because Rob was the left tackle. Brendan was typically the right guard. So now Brendan's at left guard. All of a sudden, two of the best players in the history of Nebraska football are stepping all over each other because they're not used to being next to each other. They have to be on the same page on the offensive line as much or more than any other unit on the entire team. So that is a phenomenal point, and I'm curious to see how well they gel, how well they play together, how well they come together next year. It's a great question. Great point. Anything else?
That's it for now.
All right. A couple of quick shout outs here. I legit have no idea what's going to be said in our third segment. I think you're excited. I'm legit nervous.
Well, I don't have to use the dump button, so I'm not worried about that.
What if she came out here? She won't. But if she's just dropping FFs and this and that, I don't think I'd be going home because Mom would not be happy with me. Obviously, that's not going to happen. By the way, my daughter, who's 8 years old, is going to join us in the last segment. We're going to have some fun. I was even trying to, I mentioned this in the first segment, but if you missed it, I was trying to prep her with some questions. She gave me multiple different answers each time I asked the question, which is going to be fun. I hope. All right. Let's see. This hour of the Adam Carriker Show is sponsored by our good friends at Suizo Construction, where safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Suizo is hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back on and off the job site. Apply today at Suizo.com. 40 years strong in business, Suizo Construction. Again, that's SCHWISOW.com. Also, shout out to Hamilton Telecommunications, bringing you the latest in quality technology and communication services since 1901. Learn more about their residential and business services at HamiltonTel.com. Again, that's HamiltonTel.com. All right, Nebraska basketball, 22-3, 11-3 in Big Ten play. Takes on our best buddies from the state of Iowa, the Hawkeyes. We're on the road tonight. They're 12-2 at home this year, by the way, the Hawkeyes are. They're rolling with the blackout because they love us so much. 18-7 on the season, 8-6 in Big Ten play, but 12-2 at home. It's going to be a hostile environment. I think it's going to be, it's going to be as close to a Big Ten football game as you can possibly get on a Big Ten basketball court. That's what I anticipate. Would you say that Nebraska was a 1.5-point favorite last time you looked?
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Nebraska took down Northwestern last Saturday, if you missed it, 68-49. The Nebraska, number 2 defense in the entire Big Ten. I've talked about their defense all year. I'm just going to say I was talking about their defense while everyone else was talking about how pretty their offense was. Now, maybe that's because I'm partial to blackout, black shirt, and defense, but I was like, man, they play good defense. Number 2 defense in the Big Ten Conference, 66 points a game they're allowing, I should say. Iowa, number 1 in the Big Ten in defense, 64 points a game they're allowing. So the number 1 and 2 defense in the entire Big Ten Conference going to square off tonight. Let's see what else we got here. In their last game, Iowa, man, they kind of play basketball like they play football. They're going to slow it down. They're going to be methodical. They're not going to wow you. They're going to try to fundamental out defense, and if they can on the basketball court, out physical you to death. That's what they're going to try to do. In their last game, they shot just 27.3% from threes over their last 3 games. Their last game, they were 6 of 22. This is our first of 2 meetings this year. We'll end the regular season playing against them. All right, let's see. Iowa actually, unfortunately, swept us last year, including a 97-87 overtime win in Iowa City on January 7th a year ago. So hopefully that changes a little bit. This is going to be, again, a defensive game, a close game, a hostile environment. As long as we win, it'll be wildly entertaining. Otherwise, I'm going to call it an ugly game to watch. If we lose, I think we're going to win. I got the good guys winning. We give up, an average of 66. They give up an average of 64. I got us winning 66-64 on the road in their house in the middle of their blackout. That's what I'm rolling with. What do you got, Jake, before we head to break?
I like to hear that. Maybe I want a little bit more offense. I like some offense, but it is, like you said, it's going to be a defensive battle out there. Just excited for Bryce Sanford to get this opportunity. He had a very good success, unfortunately, in this matchup before in the Iowa Hawkeye jersey. Yeah. So now for Nebraska, it's going to help, and he's going to break. If he hits 2 threes, he can tie or break the single season record for Nebraska in 3-pointers held by Kerry Cohorn. And he averages 9 3-point attempts a game. So I know Kerry would have liked to play in this era, but it is absolutely incredible to watch him. And, you just hope those nerves get out early. You wonder what the crowd's going to react to him, but it's his homecoming. That's what it's all about. So I do think Nebraska wins this game. I think Iowa does put up a pretty good fight, but maybe go a little bit more high scoring, but not much. Maybe like a 72-68 type of affair.
They're just going to try. They're going to do what they do in football. They're going to try to out fundamental, out defense, and if they can, out physical us to death. I like how our basketball team responds in that situation. So I like it tonight. I'm sticking 66-64. It's going to be a defensive battle. I want to see some of our guys throwing the bones in the middle of their freaking blackout. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com. Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Most resolutions for the new year fail before January is even over. Why not resolve to just be a little bit cleaner in 2026? Nebraska Auto Detail is here for you. Now through March 30th, if you purchase a ceramic coating, you'll get a free interior detail. There's no better way to start your year than taking care of your car and decluttering the mess that it becomes so easily. Book your detail today at NebraskaAutoDetail.com or call Joe and the team at 402-601-5086.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and on behalf of the entire Koppel team, we would like to say thank you to all of our loyal customers and employees that have allowed us to become one of the most successful GM dealerships in the country for the past 50 years. So we are celebrating that with some huge discounts. Right now, we have up to $13,500 off MSRP or 0% APR on select new models, and new Blazer EVs are leasing for $279 a month with zero down. So check us out online at KoppelCars.com. All deals with approved credit. See dealer for details.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2. Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Looking to get a room downtown or near South Lincoln? Abe Lincoln would tell you no to the Ford Theater and yes to Lincoln Hotel. Save up to 40% off downtown Lincoln prices with a nice clean room and comfortable stay. Lincoln Hotel is locally owned and offers a day pass to the city's largest locally owned gym, Good Life Fitness. Long-term stays are available. You can learn more about pricing and book your Lincoln Hotel stay today at staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565. That's staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SauterHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. We got a special guest. We're going to have some fun. But before I bring her on, shout out to Mulberry Barbecue. Now with 2 locations at 11th Corn Husker and 61st and Apples Way from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burn-in sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, full slab of ribs, half-smoked chicken, and much, much more. Plus, get incredible sides, get fuel for lunch today, or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue. All right. At this time, I'd like to bring on my 8-year-old daughter, Jordan Carriker. How are you doing, Jordy? Just speak right into that mic right there. How's that? All right.
There we go.
You excited to be here today?
Yeah.
Gonna have fun?
Yeah.
All right. No school again. How excited were you to not have to go to school again today?
I don't know.
What you been doing this morning? So yesterday we did a few things as a family, but this morning I've been working. What you been up to this morning?
The dentist.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Mom took the 4 youngers to the dentist. How was that? How was the dentist?
Okay.
That hurt at all?
No.
No? They give you candy?
No.
That would be kind of ironic if the dentist gave candy. But you want to keep kids happy at the same time. All right. So you love sports. All right. So what are like your favorite sports?
Basketball, baseball, volleyball, soccer.
Basketball, baseball, volleyball, and soccer. All right. For those who don't know, I think I know. What are like your two favorite sports?
Baseball, basketball.
Baseball and basketball. So she plays baseball with the boys. I tell her to go kick some boy butt, and she does great, huh? Don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Nebraska basketball, you and I were chatting about this on the way here. They're going to play Iowa tonight. All right. Who do you think's going to win? Is Nebraska going to win, or is Iowa going to win the basketball game?
Nebraska.
You think Nebraska? All right. All right. Football next year. Now, we're months out from this game, but Nebraska's going to play Iowa in football next year. Who you got winning the football game next year?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Probably the right answer.
Probably the right answer. If you had to take a guess, who would you just guess would win?
Nebraska.
No, there you go. I'm brainwashing my children the right way.
Don't let me tell her about the last 10 of 11 games or any of those stats I can bring.
None of those things. All right. Now, because you love football too. You wanna play flag football?
Yeah.
Okay. Flag football. Who are some of your, so just so people know, I have two daughters who exponentially love football. Jordan and Dakota love football. I'm pretty much convinced that they both watch more NFL games than I do. That's for sure. And they always Jordan will be like, hey, do you know this happened on Sunday? And this happened with the Jaguars. This happened with the Eagles. And I'm like, I didn't know any of that. And even a couple times I fact checked her and she was right. I was like, wow, that's impressive. So who are your favorite NFL teams?
All the animal teams.
All the animal teams. That is true. So we got the Eagles, the Dolphins. They were your favorite for a long time. Are they still your favorite?
Yeah.
Okay. Eagles, the Dolphins. Who am I missing? The Seahawks? They won the Super Bowl. So you had the Patriots in our NFL pick'em this year. So you made it to the Super Bowl for the second year in a row, but didn't quite get the actual win, though, because the Patriots, they didn't win, right? And that was the team you had? Okay. Who else am I missing? You like the Falcons?
Yeah.
Am I missing anyone else? What other animal teams are there?
Can I talk you into the Cardinals?
Ooh, Arizona Cardinals?
Yeah.
You like them?
There you go.
Okay. All right. Jake, you got any questions for her?
Well, I asked you, we were prepared before the show. I just wanted to let everybody know, what's your favorite activity at school? Or what's your favorite class at school?
Specials.
Specials. That's a little bit different wording than what I had. What does specials entail?
So, what are the specials? What are the classes?
PE, music, art, and library, computer science.
Oh, man, those sound like the best classes. PE was always my favorite.
Which one's your favorite?
PE.
PE. What's your favorite thing to do in PE?
I don't know.
You don't know? All right. So, what's your favorite thing? Because you got a pretty good basketball team you play on. You girls have some fun together. What's your favorite thing about playing? It's a Lasers team, playing on the Lasers second grade basketball team.
We have fun.
You have fun? You always play older teams, don't you? Like third grade teams and whatnot? You like playing older teams?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You got any final thoughts? Anything off the text line there, Jake?
No questions here, but I always got to at least put in, what's your favorite thing about your dad?
Everything.
Everything. There you go.
Wow. You just zoomed to the top of the favorites list. I'm just putting that out there. Hey, you did awesome. Give me 5. Can you say throw the bones? You got to say it.
For the bones.
All right. Have a glorious day. We'll see you fine folks on Thursday. Go Big Red. Beat Iowa. And always remember, say it with me, to throw the bones. Good job, Jordy.
Looking to get a room downtown or near South Lincoln? Abe Lincoln would tell you no to the Ford Theater and yes to Lincoln Hotel. Save up to 40% off downtown Lincoln prices with a nice clean room and comfortable stay. Lincoln Hotel is